Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 54-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where I left off yesterday, I was in jail in Houston, Texas. Not for the first time, but I had gone to jail for prostitution, and I had some little bit of issues in there with a gentleman that tried to creep me while I was sleeping. He was taught a lesson. Go back and watch the last video. He was taught quite the lesson. And so, yeah, I had a young guy named Andrew get moved into the tank that I was in. And the deputies told him, we already know who you're going to try to shack up with, so just go on in there. Y'all have to double up anyway. There's not enough cells. And he immediately went into my cell, my one-man cell, and unpacked all of his stuff. Now, here's the thing about jail, okay? If you're trans and you're in jail and you're pre-op, because if you're post-op, you're probably going to a women's prison anyway. But if you're pre-op, you most likely, well, at least back in the day, you always went to the male prisons and jails. So, but in Houston, they would give you your hormones. If you wanted to make money, like pull a date, I would have men have somebody from the outside put money on their books. And then when they would put money on their books for the commissary, I would have them put it on my books. I'm sorry. They would put it on my books for the commissary. And once I got the little receipt from the deputies telling me that the money was on my books, then I would have to go into a cell with the guy and take care of business. So that was how I survived in there. But Andrew moved into my cell, and he was adorable. He was really adorable. And, you know, he had money on his books. He was able to provide, let's put it that way, for a jailhouse husband, which is what they called them. He was able to provide for me, you know. And, of course, I was expected to put out. So, you know, look, I'm not prude or anything, so I did what I needed to do, and so me and this boy had a little fling up in jail, and I grew to like him, but, you know, Damon was waiting for me on the outside, and what happens in jail is very, very separate from what happens on the outside. Jailhouse romances are not supposed to continue beyond the jail. So I get out after a week, and I go back to the Montague. Damon had left South Main and had gone back to the Montague, where Terry and Tracy and everybody else was. So we were back on home turf, you know. And yeah, I got out. I went to the Montague. Damon got me, and we went to the Montague, and it was too much, you know. I mean, the crack stopped after everything that we had done. And we went out to the bar one night after I got out of jail. Oh yeah, Andrew started calling me from jail. Yeah, he started calling the Montague and trying to get to my room, and calling me from jail trying to say, oh no, I want to be with you, and I don't care about your boyfriend and all that. You're going to be mine. So all of that. And then I had to deal with it with Damon, and it just was not cute. So one night I'm at the Tea Garden on Westheimer, and I'm hanging out with the girls, and Monica, my friend Monica, who was like my idol back then, I'll be honest. She was really like my idol. She looked like a live Mexican Barbie doll, just gorgeous. And we're sitting there, and Monica and Terry and me and Diana was bartending, you know, and it was a whole gaggle of us sitting in there. And then Monica's sitting there in a beaded gown, mind you. 5-inch stiletto heels, a beaded gown, full length to the floor, and she looks like she's ready for, you know, the red carpet, basically. And so what happens? In through the door comes Killer Kelly and Shantae and the gang. Yay! If y'all remember my stories, if you've been around for a bit, Killer Kelly and Shantae were what we called the Goblin Gang in Houston. And the Goblin Gang used to like to terrorize the girls when they would get rowdy. So Shantae starts calling Monica out and saying, bitch, I've been looking for you, and pulls a chain like a big heavy metal chain from behind her back and starts swinging it in a circle in front of her and saying, come on, bitch, I've been waiting for this. It's your turn. I'm going to get you. And I'm here to tell you, Monica got up off that bar stool, y'all, and she beat the living hell in 5-inch stilettos and a beaded gown. She beat the hell out of Shantae wearing trailer trash shorts and a wife beater and sandals. Yeah, and she took the chain from Shantae. She took her own chain from her and beat her with her own chain. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. She beat her with her own chain to where she was black and blue and on the ground crying for help. And if you want to know what happened after that, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow and I will too. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the comments and the love, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.